Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Brad Hannon.
And Sean Noonan, and welcome to the Insurance Sucks podcast.
Where, if you're new here, we talk about anything but insurance. Because why, Sean?
Because insurance sucks, and we hate talking about it.
We love insurance, but we know that most people don't love insurance. So we created this podcast just for insurance agents, and really anybody, but mainly for insurance agents, where we can talk about anything but insurance. And I'm excited today because I just showed up and there's 3 pairs of shoes on the ground, and I don't know what the hell they're on the ground, on the table, and I don't know what the hell they're there for.
I don't know. I figured, we're going to talk a little bit about what kind of happened this week. And I know you were out of town. You're in Colorado.
You missed me.
I definitely did. You brought the weather back with you here to Florida.
I did.
Meanwhile, while you were freezing your tail off, I was getting some J's.
These are the J's that you said I could try to get at a local Golf Galaxy, and there was none within 100 miles because I was in the mountains in Colorado.
Absolutely. I texted you, hey, go to Golf Galaxy. They're doing a sign up, and you're like, I got one 200 miles away. But you're sitting there staying on a golf course basically in the mountains. And the fact that you couldn't play, God, that must have eaten you alive.
Is that why you got my size?
No, those are too big for you.
No, they're 10.5. That's my size.
Yeah, but they run too big.
I think I can manage.
Potentially.
I did stay on a golf course too, which was both cool and because I can imagine playing golf on the golf course because you got the the Grand Mesa in the background. And it was so cool, but also I couldn't play because it was ice and snow on the ground. But we could use the hill on the backside of the hole to sled down. So Brecken was doing a lot of sledding. That was cool. So how the hell did you get these damn shoes?
Dude, that is a fascinating story, and I would love to go into it. I think it would take up a little too much time today, but if you guys are interested in how I managed to get this, I actually got 14 pairs in person. So nothing crazy. It was just
nothing crazy. What do you mean? The 14 pairs is crazy.
Nothing crazy in the sense that what
do these things retail for, and what do they resale for?
$150 retail with taxes and everything included. Resale anywhere from $220 up to $350 depending on the color, the size. Got 14 total, and like I said, I didn't do anything that nobody else could do. So,
do you have any more for sale?
I do.
What size are they?
They vary. Just hit me up on a message.
Hey, welcome to the Insurance Sucks podcast. If you're a golfer and you want Jordan 1 lows, we got them on the low. Actually, not on the low.
Not on the low, on the high. But
I like it.
But if you guys are interested in how I managed to do it, leave a comment below. Let me know if it's something you're interested in. I'll tell the story about how I secured so many. It's actually pretty funny as well too. But you guys have to leave a comment below. Let me know if you're interested, and I'll tell you how you might be able to get a pair yourself.
I never in my life thought that Sean would be an interesting person. I bet you we're going to get a lot of comments that are people interested. How the hell did you get all those? I think Joe Camper's going to watch and be like, dude, what? I don't even golf, but I would rock some Jordans. He got those. Did you see his freaking high tops for softball?
They're legit.
For softball.
Yeah.
We played tournament softball all over the place. We didn't have jerseys that cool or shoes that
We didn't have a coach that cool either.
But we had more game for sure than Joe Camper on the softball field. So that's not even a question. But we're talking about golf, not softball. Softball's lame. Golf is cool. And we actually have a golfer an ex-golfer. We have an ex-golfer on the show today.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, he played high school. He played college. I think he played a little professional golf potentially. Yeah. I mean, that's cool to me because, that would, to me, be a passion that I would have now in my life. But I know it'll never happen.
That window has passed.
It's definitely passed. However, the senior tour, I got a good 24 years to get ready for. Right. So maybe.
Yeah, I think even to get on the senior tour, you still have to be a somebody before you were a senior. I don't think you just get to try out as a senior. And
you go to a qualifying tournament, you get lucky somehow.
I guess so.
I got 24 years to meet somebody to become someone.
Meanwhile, all the people that are playing golf right now are playing for the next 24 years to get ready for senior golf too. Yeah. So you're way behind. We got to get to the golf course.
We definitely do. I
guess for your bachelor party. But
no doubt.
The guest we have is Cody Baker. Right, he's. I know you haven't really got a chance to talk to him. I talked to him a little bit last night. Super cool dude. Definitely a bro. That's played some golf in the past and done some partying, some digital marketing, built some businesses, sold some businesses. Just sold $70 million. Wait, I'm giving too much away, aren't I? Just sold a bunch, right? I don't know if you sell it or what, but he lended a lot of freaking money, which means he made a lot of money on that money in his first year in that business. So I'm pumped to bring on the guest. His name's Cody Baker. Should we do it now?
I think so. Let's talk to him.
All right, let's bring on Cody.
Welcome back, everybody. We have got our featured guest with us today, Cody Baker. He is actually based out of Dallas, Texas. He is a Texas Tech grad, former collegiate and professional golfer. Has had a couple different business careers, running a digital marketing firm for I think 7 or 8 years, it looks like. He also got into the real estate commercial finance side, as well as is a big player right now in the self-storage game,
But not only did he get into it, tell us real quick, Cody, what did you produce in your first year as a lender?
64 million and change.
Incredible.
I mean, that sounds pretty good. It's a big number, right?
Yeah, it was a hell of a ramp-up period. The fourth quarter was 44 of that 64.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that was your first year, right? Yeah. So you just kind of jumped into it? I love it.
I started June 2020, and just, submerged myself in the business as much as I could, day in, day out. And typically it's like a 2 to 3 year ramp-up time before you can produce. So I did it in 8 months.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So I'm actually going to bring it back and start from kind of the foundation here for us. So, we talk about golf pretty often on the show. I'm a recreational golfer. So is Brad. Definitely not we're not winning much money or impressing many people out on the course. But, just tell us, what was it like being a college golfer, a professional golfer? If you're somebody that is familiar with the sport, if you're not a tour player, it's not as luxurious as most people think. But tell us just kind of what that was about and how it was.
By the way, speak for yourself. I'm out there winning money, of course. I don't know about you. I get a lot of strokes.
Well, with 18 strokes, yeah.
So I actually picked it up pretty quick. I started playing golf the summer before my freshman year of high school, only because my dad told me that they got out of school at 1:30. So I wanted to get out of school early. Started playing golf. I made the freshman team with my qualifying round was like a 104, I think. 102.
There you go.
And then I lettered as a sophomore down in the 70s. So I went pretty hard that year.
So your first year you shot 100, and your second year you shot in the 70s?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's impressive.
Yeah, my grandfather actually bought me lessons from this guy that was like a family friend. So I had to fly to South Carolina for a week at a time, stay with him and his wife, and just hit. This guy had me hitting like 300 to 400 balls a day with one arm. Like it was, oh my God! It completely reconstructed my entire, thought about golf and how it all worked. And it worked. Ended up leading the. The varsity team for the next 3 years. So that was a lot of fun. But then, that put me into a position I think I got 20 something in the state of Texas. I think it was 24th at the state tournament my junior year, and then 17th my senior year. Got me a scholarship over to University of North Texas here in Denton, Texas, just north of DFW. And then I like to party. So that 1 year was all I got.
That's awesome.
That 1 year was it.
Yeah, but still, I mean, but
it was fun, man.
That's not an easy transition at all from not playing, like what you said, you picked it up like your freshman year, basically. So not playing golf just to then going to college on a golf scholarship is not something that many people do. So
not only that, you went from shooting 100 to shooting in the 70s within a year of playing the game. Like, that's unheard of. There's people who've been playing the game for 30 years that have trying to shoot in the 70s.
What's your handicap these days?
Man, I have. So do y'all use the app called the Grint?
Of course. Well, I used to before I was a country club member, but back in my old
his
days,
peasant days.
Now you're on the gin.
Now my club keeps my handicap. Real bougie. They also keep my clubs.
Yeah, per the app, I'm a .5 right now.
Oh, come on,
yeah.
dude. I got a country club membership. You got a good golf game. That's a fair deal.
It's usually how they work.
Oh, my goodness.
That's awesome.
We're looking at a couple country clubs here in town, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Dude, so I mean, yeah, you should, first of all, but you've played real golf. I tell Sean all the time, it's like, dude, you got to join a country club, because then you'll learn how to, like, you'll learn what playing real golf is like, with strokes, different games, actually gambling. Like, I've got friends that literally still are like, dude, I'm not giving you any strokes. I'm like, bro, it is an exact science. Like, it is, barring an absolute blow up round or an absolutely playing lights out, it's so accurate. It's so accurate. What's your thought on that? You're smirking like you disagree. You don't want to give me strokes, do you?
No, I give strokes. I give strokes to friends.
All right, deal.
But only if they have a handicap. If they're just like, if they don't track it and they don't have a handicap and they don't know what it is and they're like, just give me 10 strokes. And I'm like, no,
dude, because the gin is real. It's so accurate. It's ridiculous.
Really is.
Yeah, it's like a if you like look at like the math problem on how to calculate a handicap, it's actually pretty intense. It's actually pretty detailed.
Yeah, no, I understand.
It goes off of like course slope and rating and all kinds of stuff.
So basically, yeah, I mean, it's way too advanced for the three of us, I can tell you that. But what's not too advanced for the three of us is digital marketing, and that's where you transition to out of college, huh? Because that's how we connected. So we connected through Sandra. I understand you and her had a previous business doing some digital marketing things, stuff like that. You basically went from college, and obviously we're fast forwarding here. We went from college to the digital marketing space and had a business in that space for a few years before you transitioned to lending. So what were you doing in those days during the digital marketing days?
Yeah, so out of college, I tried the corporate world for 4 months, and that's all that I lasted. Then I just knew I had to do my own thing.
Smarter man than I am.
So I was actually working for what's that?
Smarter man than I am. Took me 10 years.
Yeah. So I went to work for my parents, cold calling sales for their auto mechanic business, diesel mechanic business, and then worked on figuring out e-commerce stores, how to drop ship, and I was doing that at night. And the fad that I caught that like just lit the fire in me for digital marketing was, you remember those fidget spinners?
Oh yeah. Still, my son still has one. I made so much money off those fidget spinners. I like caught the fad like right in the middle, like kind of towards the end a little bit. And so like I launched ads and like bought like this little Facebook, advertising course on what to do, and learned that. And then like the first month, I think I made like 20 grand. Second month was like 45 grand. Wow.
And then the ad like died right after that, and I lost like another 15 grand just in ads.
But you still profited overall, it sounds like.
So, oh yeah, 100%. Definitely profited overall, and it lit the fire in me for just making money online, making money from kind of passively minimal attention, to time to money, right? That aspect there really caught my eye, and through buying different courses, met different people, and ended up in this little mastermind program that was like, hey, run Facebook ads, which I kind of already knew how to do, but do it for a particular service provider, and so forth. So that kicked off our digital marketing firm, which we did Facebook lead generation essentially for real estate and mortgage professionals. And then that segued into a lot of different other stuff, but from CRM systems and technology and kind of different ways to add to the product, selling something new to the same customer that you already have is 8 times easier than getting a new customer. So just kind of started stacking those things. So we built some CRMs, and we built some consulting stuff and some consulting programs while having the service. There were a lot of different angles at pulling money in for the business, and it was just it was like a drug. It was like just so, I don't know. I would work 18 hours a day and not even think about it.
Feeling.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do with digital marketing too. It's so highly competitive that you got to really separate yourself from it. It seems like.
it just moves so fast, in the different stuff that comes out, the different ways to streamline, to automate, so forth. It just moves so fast that you always have to be plugged in and knowing what's going
Yep.
on to be, the first one to catch that riff.
The latest and
of that new
greatest.
product. Everybody thinks it's the hottest, coolest shit.
Yeah, man, I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
And so is that
So
the reason? Is that the reason why you got out of it?
Hell yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I know you and I were kind of talking yesterday, or briefly last night about it, and you had mentioned obviously you sold those businesses, but you brought a lot of that knowledge into the lending space, which personally I love, because the whole point of this podcast, right, is it's a great digital marketing outlet, right? It's a creative outlet. It gives Sean and I a chance to connect with guys like you and learn strategies, different things from different industries, including the things we like golf and crypto and reselling and, residual passive income streams and side hustles and all of these things. So we were having this conversation last night, and, you'd mentioned that, you've got a few different side hustles. Heck, you still got side hustles that are paying you $3,000 to $5,000 a month that you did years ago that you're not really spending any of your time on, which is, that's when I knew, dude, we got to get this guy on the show. Want to hear more from him, because you also said that you brought a lot of the knowledge from digital marketing and that space into the lending business. So I want to transition to kind of now, just this last year. Have you, when you say you brought some of that knowledge into it, what are you doing differently? Okay, you don't have to give away your secrets, because maybe a lender or some mortgage broker out there might listen to this and steal your thunder, but I doubt it. You know how that is. What would you say you're doing differently in the space, when you came into this business, than most people are?
Yeah, I'm never worried about anybody else hearing what I'm doing, because if they're just looking at me, I'm 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of you, and I always will be.
That's right.
So I think, in the digital marketing world, that idea, that thought process, everybody's looking for the next tactic or strategy that's going to make them more money or bring in more clients or whatever, when really it's just focus on what you're good at, stay in your lane, do your content, don't look at what everybody else is doing, kind of thing. So, transitioning into lending, we're a commercial real estate brokerage. So we are very high volume. We work with brokers, we work with lenders, we work with sellers, we work with all the third party, the insurance, title, legal, everybody across the board, and those are all referral sources for us. And so what I did really well in the marketing business was pull in attention from outside sources. And so things like being on the Insurance Sucks podcast has nothing to do with lending, has nothing to do with anything here, but attention is attention is attention is attention. It doesn't matter what kind of attention, just get some attention. So it's, this was an easy decision for me to jump on here and shoot the shit with you guys. It's a lot of fun doing it. And so taking that over here to lending, you don't see any other brokers or lenders or anything doing, what we do, what we used to do in the digital marketing space, and just get on and do a quick Facebook Live and talk about a deal that just went south, or all the nitty gritty bullshit that nobody ever wants to talk about. They always want to talk about the new flashy stuff. And so, we're kind of doing something like that. We're launching a Facebook group for self-storage investors, and a little mastermind program. I used to build these online, training programs. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're connecting with, a lot of guys that have their own shows or networking stuff. And even if it's not in our direct line of sight of bringing in new business, it's just fun to do.
Absolutely.
And so, the biggest thing for me when I transitioned over here, it was actually coming to work for somebody else after running my own thing for 7 years was a difficult transition to make. And one of my stipulations was let me run my own thing. Let me have it at a point where you think I'm ready, release me to the wolves, let me run my own thing, give me the freedom to do my marketing how I want to do it, all that kind of stuff. And they gave me that kind of comfort and that reassurance. So, now we're at the point where I've got enough attention behind me from all the production we did in 2021 to carry over in 2022. The momentum is still carrying. We're just going to capitalize on that by doing stuff like this, doing stuff like even just content on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
The Facebook group, that's a big thing. I doubt
Facebook group's going to be big.
I doubt there's very many commercial lenders out there starting Facebook groups in niches too, like that. I mean, the niche that you're going after is awesome, and I want to get into that.
All of them right now are all ran by brokers, and so they're all trying to push deals and all that kind of stuff. Whereas we're like just taking an educational kind of approach. Like, this is the information that the brokers don't know, and that lenders typically won't even tell you. So we're just kind of taking some of the trade secrets that have been kept bottled up for a while and putting it out there and seeing what it does. I honestly don't know how successful it's going to be. I have no idea. But it's just going to be a lot of fun in the process. And
it sounds a lot like another industry I know of too, like trade secrets being hidden, and no real transparency and openness, and no educational content out there, a more sales first approach instead of an educational first approach, which we know that the point of the content that we create is to educate. And this is also to entertain a little bit, but the correlations between the commercial lending and the insurance industry that we're drawing here is a bit ironic, but I think it's like that in just about every industry. You run into that old school train of thought, man, a lot.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing that you're doing too is just getting yourself out there, which nobody in your industry is doing that right now, which is very awesome. And
I've seen one other self-storage broker that kind of does some content on Facebook. But that's it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Or self-storage specific lending broker.
Right.
Yeah.
More specifically.
And on that topic too, because the self-storage business is huge, it's booming. It seems like every corner that's popping up, there's a new building that's coming up. So how did you get into this? Like, how did you stumble into the self-storage side of the business? Because I think that's something that interests a lot of people.
Yeah. This is a good story. So from the digital marketing world, my roommate at the time quit his job because he literally saw me working like 18 hours a day. And like there was one day, this particular day, he left for work at 7 a.m. and I was still up working from the night before. And then he came home and at like 10 o'clock and I was in bed, and he walks in and he goes, "I quit my job." And I was like, I looked at him, I go, "Welcome." Welcome to the life of working from home. So then he was going to try and venture out and do his own thing and all that kind of stuff. Ran across the guy that owns this company, and my roommate at the time was the first hire for this guy who's been doing this forever. So
by the way, shout out to Terry Dale, right? That's the sign I'm reading behind you. Shout out to the company, because I know Terry Dale Capital. Love it. And anybody that can get a guy like Cody Baker to come work with him, they got it going on, because I mean, this guy's just not going to go to work for anybody. You can tell that.
We started this year with 5 people. We're at 15 now, about to bring in another round. So me, Colby, my old roommate, and Brian Gramlich, who owns the company, Quinn Conway runs our retail division. Us 4 just kind of went to town. We all looked at each other like, we want this to be, stupid, massively huge. How are we going to do it? Worked backwards, mapped out the plan. We went from, $900K in revenue in 2020 to 2.8 million in revenue last year.
That's good growth.
2021, targeting 6 million this year.
I love it.
So it's just having like-minded guys behind the steering wheel, willing to put in the work and hustle, and it's all paying off. In
an industry that, just like insurance, isn't the sexiest industry in the world, right? I mean, I would argue it's probably a little sexier than the insurance industry, depending on which avenue of insurance you're talking about.
I mean, they made a TV show about self-storage units. It's obviously more interesting.
Yeah, but just even the commercial lending, the self-storage stuff. Like, I told you before, selfishly, I want to pick your brain on a little bit on the self-storage side, because I mean, listen, I do well, but I'm not going to go build a self-storage facility cash money right now. I would definitely need lending. I don't know what I'm approved for. I don't know how that works. So I imagine that's something you go through in this mastermind group, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the first things we kick every conversation off. Even if a deal comes to us through a broker, an investor, that's the first thing we look at is, where typically you need, just talk about the qualifications from a conventional lending standpoint. You typically need a 1-to-1 ratio of net worth to the loan amount. So if you're buying, for example, if you're buying a $1 million property, we're getting 80% leverage. We got an $800,000 debt side of things, and we need 200 grand of equity. Typically, you need 1-to-1 ratio. So you need to be net worth. It's basically your assets less liabilities on your personal balance sheet, hitting 800,000, and then you need 5 to 10%, 5 at a minimum of the loan amount of post-closing liquidity. So you'll need, after you pay the $200,000 down, plus all the loan fees and third parties and stuff, you need, call it 160 grand sitting in the bank.
Hell yeah. Let's talk about the non-conventional side of that. Give me the high risk side of it. The conventional sounds boring. I like the non-conventional. Actually, no, I lied. The conventional doesn't sound boring. It sounds expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's storage deals out there for $200,000-$300,000.
No doubt.
And then you can get into a deal for 100 grand,
right,
or 80 grand, or something like that. A side of the business that a lot of people don't see is syndication. We got guys that go out there and they're doing $20-30 million deals only worth $5 million, and that's a big delta between what we need on the requirement. But when you're syndicating, you're bringing in investors as limited partners, and you can utilize some of the other investors and their liquidity and their businesses that they own, and you can use the business's cash account as liquidity. It's kind of different ways that you can get crafty and creative and hit the qualifications. But it's a bank by bank thing. Whether you're at a bank or credit union, a life company, there's bridge lenders, construction lenders, hard money guys. There's all kinds of lending out there. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but
so
just get in, find a deal and get in. Is all.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good plug on some storage things. I think, honestly, think making a connection between the two of you would be a smart thing to do for both of you potentially. But he's building self-storage facilities all over Florida, and I don't even know if it's outside the state of Florida, but he's got a few going now.
He's in Utah right now building one.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So he's building them in Utah. He might not even need financing at this point, to be honest with you, but I watched him just absolutely crush it in the self-storage space, and it's blowing up, and it's going to continue to blow up, right? People need to store their shit somewhere. Yep. By the way, the biggest racket in all of the world is a storage unit, because I have paid more for my fucking storage unit than what is even in there. I could buy new Christmas decorations every single year and spend less money than I spend on my stupid storage unit. Yep. But it's better than having junk laying around your house, right? So that's kind of the idea.
No, it's so funny. We were just moving. We moved to a new place like 6 months ago. And all the stuff, we were like filling up our little storage closet and stuff. And then I got to the point where I couldn't do anything else. And I was like, this is how it fucking happens.
Yep. Exactly.
This is why they're making money. Yeah.
Somebody moves or somebody dies and you get inheritance and you just have this stuff. I think we paid for one for 5 years, and at the end of the 5 years said, we don't want any of this crap anymore, and we just got rid of it.
What is that? So what do you think the storage unit costs? $100?
150 bucks.
So let's say 150 bucks. Well, 12 months times 5 is 60 times 150 bucks a month.
Do that math.
He's spent, I got to use a calculator for that math. He spent almost $10,000
to throw stuff away
on storage that you never even use, and that's why a storage unit's a horrible investment, great business opportunity.
And times that by what, 400 or 500 units probably.
For real.
Yeah. And what's funny is I talked to this guy that's from the UK. He's here in the States investing in storage, and he's from the UK, and he was like, the lifestyles over there in Europe storage is not a thing over there really.
I believe it.
Like they're not hoarders like Americans are.
Even when they travel with a backpack. They're like, oh, I'm taking a month vacation. I have my backpack, and I'm like, Where's everything
He
else?
even broke it down to like, it was interesting how he broke it down, how he sees the market, and how, why he knows that self-storage is it goes all the way back to like our spending habits here in the States versus Europe. And it was really interesting kind of how he was breaking that down from spending habits to the shit that we accumulate, and then our non-willingness to let go.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%, man. Well, listen, first of all, I thank you majorly for coming on the show, just from the standpoint of, like you said, this isn't in the commercial lending space. It might not do anything for you, but it will get you some attention. And that's really the whole point. So thank you. Very gracious for you spending some time with us and talking through anything but insurance. But before we let you go real quick, because you're launching the new Facebook group and things like that, if anybody wanted to find you, right, where do they find you, and anything else you want to throw in before we wrap up here?
Yeah, so you can go to get on Facebook and search Storage Club, all one word, and you should come up with it there. We will be, it just now launched, but everything from how to find deals, our network resources of brokers, insurance guys, which you guys already have. Are y'all in commercial insurance?
No, dude, we do health and life, so totally opposite side of things. But
well, if y'all break into commercial, let me know, and I'll add y'all to our referral list.
There you go.
But from everybody across the board, all of our contacts, from legal, title, appraisers, obviously lenders we keep in our back pocket until you're ready for the loan. But we just want to give everything we have that we've literally built this business around, out to, how the loan process works, and give this kind of information out to guys that are either just trying to get into the business, or looking to grow their 1 to 2 properties into 10, or we've got 3 or 4 mastermind members already that are wanting to quit their day job. They're working W-2, and they're like, help me get to this point where I can quit. And we mapped out the roadmap, and did a little strategy session of what that looks like over the next 2 to 5 years, or whatever they can afford, how fast they can afford to grow, and just take them from 0 to 100. That's a big part of what I found very rewarding in the marketing game, was watching people like grow their businesses. And it's kind of what we're doing on the self-storage side now too. So Storage Club, selfstoragegrowthclub.com. You can go there, and they'll push you to a landing page. It will also lead you to the Facebook group. We just launched this thing, but we'll be opening it up nationally here in the next couple of weeks. Right at the first of, I guess it's here next week. Open it up nationally, and going to be advertising, get people in the group, and putting together some more advanced trainings and whatnot on just how this whole game works. And it should be a place where you can connect with other investors, connect with brokers. We're going to be posting deals in that group that we're looking at. My team right now, we're underwriting anywhere from like 8 to 12 deals a day.
Wow.
So we see a ton of opportunities across the entire nation. So it should be a pretty awesome outlet for anybody looking to grow in the space.
Very cool. Very cool. And we're definitely going to get those linked here in the videos as well, too, because it sounds like if you hate your job and you want to find something that's a little bit more passive, Cody Baker's the guy if you're looking for the real estate business.
Love it, man. And also, if you do pop over to the Self-Storage Club, you'll see me there, because I'm definitely going to jump in that group. There will be a time in the near future when I own a storage facility, because they're just money machines, as we obviously talked about.
Need to recoup my cost.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Cody.
Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for another episode of the Insurance Sucks podcast.
Thank you guys so much. Seriously, it's so fun to have an outlet where we can talk about things outside of insurance. I love the insurance industry. Make no mistake about it. Sean loves the insurance industry. It put him on the map. It made him some money. Now he's buying a bunch of freaking Air Jordans, Nikes, whatever the hell they are. And by the way, if you do want to see how he did that, I am curious myself. So make sure you drop a comment here. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You know the deal. Share this out. Listen, the reality is, if you've got a story to tell, if you've got something that you want to share, if you've got something that you want to see, right, on the Insurance Sucks podcast, we want to hear from you. So drop a comment, shoot me a message, shoot Sean a message, hit us up one way or the other, and make sure you tune in next week for another awesome guest. We're having a blast doing this. We want to know what you want to see, so let's make it happen.